Swept roof construction. In this video, we're going to show how a swept roof line is created. Swept roof lines are common in the French chateau style homes and some of what we call pagoda style homes in the West Coast. Once the walls are up, we're going to add some 2x4 joists that run across the building. There'll be an overhang, which we're going to make a truss out of this roof. With the ceiling joists installed, we now have to install the ridge of the roof. The height of the ridge is determined by the calculated slope of the roof, and then once that's installed, we start to install the common rafters. The common rafters have a normal plumb cut at the top and a long seat cut where it hits the ceiling joist. Although not shown on the picture, the ceiling joist and seat cut of the rafter will have a gusset plate fastened on both sides that are screwed and glued together. Here, all the common rafters are installed. The ridge is left long in this case so that when we install the common rafter on the hip end of the roofs, we can adjust for the length as necessary. Now the common rafters on the hip ends are installed. As seen in the previous video, we now calculate and cut the hip rafters. Here the rafter tail is in the correct position, and at the top the rafter will meet in the center. Here all 4 hip rafters are installed on the project. The next part will be the construction and installation of the hip jack rafters. Here's a shot of a pair of the hip jack rafters being installed. Next is the construction of the pattern for the swept roof line. You could use a segmental arch formula to lay out the curvature based on the height and the length of the cord that you need to cut for that curve. But in this particular case, what we did was we printed them out from a CAD model and then glued them to a piece of plywood. These pieces were cut out of solid 2x material in order to give a solid backing for the nails when the plywood is nailed to the shape. Here's a shot of all those sections now installed. You can see the development of what the roof line will look like. Now we have to install the plywood. The plywood that we're using on this roof is 5/8 of an inch thick. Because the curvature is so tight, that plywood would not bend properly. So what we do is every 1.5 inches we will run a 5/16 inch deep kerf line along the full length of the plywood. This will allow it to bend to the shape. Here's an undershot side of those plywood kerfs bending to follow the shape of the roof. Here's the roof all covered in plywood. Thank you for watching the swept roof tutorial.